Hello children, welcome to today's class. Hope you all are safe, healthy and happy at home and are also learning a lot these days. In the last class, we had practiced dialogue writing, which is a part of your grammar section. And we had also learned how to write effective dialogues and also to solve the given dialogue or complete the given dialogue. I hope you are practicing a lot of dialogues these days at home for you to write dialogues effectively and also to speak to your friends, relatives, and to have a lot of conversations very confidently in English, because dialogue writing will help you a lot in building confidence in speaking English and make your conversation grammatically correct and meaningful. For you to solve the exercises in the grammar section, as I had told you in the beginning when we were practicing the close passage exercise, that we will be learning grammar through practice. Now we have tried to solve some of the exercises related to your grammar section. Now today let's try to learn the tense, because tense and reported speech are very important for you to solve questions related to dialogue writing, reporting dialogues, and also in solving questions such as gap filling and editing. Okay, so today let's try to understand what is tense. You all must have learned about tense in your primary classes, even if not directly, indirectly through questions or practice exercises. You might have also learned about tense in your upper primary and also in your class 9th. But still, let's try to look at some of the aspects and the right usage of tense, and let me try to give you some idea about the different types of tenses. The word tense has been derived from the Latin word tempus. Okay, tempus means time. Therefore, tense means time. Now children, when we are trying to understand what is a tense, it's very important for us also to be clear about the verbs. Now you have learnt about verbs in your earlier classes. Now we know that verbs are action words. Okay, like dance, write, play, read, etc. The words which tell us about our actions, what we do, they are verbs. And now when we are learning the tense, they talk about the time of the action done. When we have understood that tense means time, so the time of the actions done by us. Okay, so when a particular action has been done. Now let's look at the different types of tense. Okay, the past, the present, and the future. Okay, these are the three different types of tenses. Now, past means the time that has gone. If you want to understand in very simple terms, yesterday, that means the time that has gone, past. Now, present is today, the time which is in front of us. So, the action which takes place now, it is the present tense, today. Now, future is tomorrow, the time which is yet to come. Okay? So, we all plan for the future. Though we are not very sure about the future, but we do plan, isn't it? Tomorrow I'll go to my friend's house, my parents will be arriving tomorrow. So, lot of things which we are going to do, that is the future tense. Now, each of these three tenses, they have further different forms. Let's now look at the different forms of the tense and try to understand them. Now children, look at your screen very carefully and listen to the explanation which I am giving for the different forms of tenses. First, let's look at the present tense. Okay? It has got four different forms. The first one is simple present tense. Then present progressive or present continuous. Continuous means something which continues for some time. Continuous comes from the word continue. That means to go on, to continue. Then the present perfect tense and the present perfect continuous tense. Now, let's quickly look at the situations where we are going to use the present tense. Actions done in the present. That means now, today. The actions or work done by us now or in the present time, we use present tense for that. Actions continuing now. Okay, that is for the continuous tense. ing. All the continuous tense, they have got ing. So in the present, the actions which are continuing in the present, we use the continuous tense. Actions regularly done, regular daily actions. Okay, and then certain past and future actions. So these are the different places where we use the present tense. We are just trying to look at a glance, and then we will be talking separately about these different forms. Now let's look at the past tense in the same way. The simple past tense, past progressive or past continuous tense, and the past perfect tense and the past perfect continuous tense. Now let's quickly look at the situations for the past tense. Actions done in the past used to show the duration of the past action, used to show two actions in the past, one completed and one continuing. Now the future tense, simple future, future progressive or future continuous tense, future perfect tense and future perfect continuous tense. Now let's look at the situations where we have to use the future tense. Actions to be done in the future to show when an action will take place in the future, to show the duration of the future action, to show the difference in time between two actions in the future. Now children, look at the screen very carefully. Now the three forms of tenses, the present, the past and the future, and then the different forms under each tense. And now we'll also be looking at the verb forms. Okay, we know that there are 3 different forms of the verb. Okay? So the first form, the second form, and the third form. So we have to see what are the different forms of verbs used in different types of tenses. So let's look at the tenses first. The present tense. Okay? In the present tense, that is the present indefinite tense, or as we call it, the simple present tense. So there you are going to use the first form of the verb. Talk, climb, jump, speak, want, etc. Okay? The first form of the verb, it's written V is for verb, and there is one, that means the first form of the verb, plus S or ES. That is according to the number, whether it is singular or whether it is plural. I'll be discussing that with you. And like do, does, okay, or again the first form of the verb. Okay? In the present continuous tense, we use is, are, am, verb, first form of the verb, and ing. As I told you in the beginning, the continuous tense has got ing with it. The first form of the verb plus ing. Okay? He is singing. The children are playing. Okay? So is, or I am reading. So is, are, am plus verb, first form of the verb, plus ing in the present continuous tense. Then the present perfect tense. In the present perfect tense, has or have plus third form of the verb. Okay? I'll be discussing that with you. The third form here, like come, came, again come, the third form. Give, gave, given. Given is the third form. Has, had, had. Have, had, had. Okay? So the third form, given, taken, spoken. Okay? So the third form of the verb in the perfect tense. All the perfect tense will have the third form of the verb. Now present perfect continuous tenses. Has, have plus been plus first form of verb plus ing. It has been raining since morning. I have been leaving this house for the last 1 year. The children have been playing in the ground since evening. Okay? So present perfect continuous. So we saw the different forms of verb in the present tense. Now let's look at the past tense. The past indefinite tense, or the simple past tense. There you have to use the second form of the verb. In the past tense we use the second form plus did plus verb, first form of the verb. Okay? For example, wrote. I wrote a letter to my friend. My mother cooked breakfast early in the morning. Okay? The action which is over, which we have done. The second form of the verb, yesterday. As I told you, present is today, past is yesterday. The action which is over. So in the past, simple past tense, we use the second form of the verb. Okay? Continuous tense, was or were plus first form of the verb plus ing. As I told you, all the continuous tense will have ing with them. Okay? The children were playing. The teacher was teaching. Okay? For singular was and for plural were. And the ing form. Okay? Now, the past perfect tense, had plus third form of the verb. I had written a letter to my friend. Okay? Past perfect continuous tense. it is had plus been plus first form of the verb plus ing. Had been writing, had been leaving, had been teaching in the school for the last 2 years. Okay? Now in the future tense, the future indefinite tense or the simple future tense, will or shall plus first form of the verb. Whenever we talk of the future, we use either will or shall. Now future continuous, will or shall plus be plus first form of the verb plus ing. Okay? Now the future perfect tense, will or shall plus have plus third form of the verb. As I told you, all the perfect tense will have the third form of the verb. Present perfect, past perfect, future perfect. Now future perfect continuous tense, will or shall plus have plus been plus first form of the verb plus ing. Okay? So these are at a glance the use of different forms of verbs in these three types of tenses, that is the present, the past and the future. So if you just click a picture of this particular table and keep with you, it will be helpful for you to refer when we are doing more exercises on tenses, or we are trying to understand more about the different types of tenses. Now let's look at the present tense first. Okay, let's try to understand each type of tense separately so that it becomes easy for you to understand. Okay, so let's try to look at the present tense and let's try to understand what are the different verb forms and how do you use the present tense, what are the situations where you use the present tense and the different forms of the present tense. So first let's look at the simple present tense. Okay, simple present tense, I work. Present continuous tense, the action is still continuing, it's going on. Continuous, as I told you, means the action is going on. So wherever the action is continuing, you use the ing form. I am working. Children, please note, we are talking of present continuous. I work was a simple present tense. I work, I dance, I talk, I eat. Okay, the first form of the verb. Now continuous means my work is going on, my action is continuing, I am working. Now the present perfect. Perfect means the action is finished or complete or perfect. That means my work has been completed. It's perfect now. I have finished my work. Perfect means I have done my work. My work is over. So I have worked. Okay, if it was she has worked, he has worked, they have worked. Okay, I'll be discussing this with you. Now the present perfect continuous. That means action is going on continuously and not completed at the present moment. I have been working. I started working and now also I am working. That means my work is going on now. So present perfect continuous. My action is not yet complete, but it is going on now also when I am talking. So present perfect continuous. Okay, so these were the different forms of the present tense. Now let's try to look at some important aspects or points which we need to remember. As I told you, we need to know the verbs also very well and their uses when we are learning the tense, because we are using the different forms of verbs. I had told you that you also have to be very clear about the number, the singular and the plural, okay, because it is very important for you while you are using the different forms of the verbs, because this is the place where most of the students commit mistakes. The place where you have to edit the type of questions where you get find the errors in the passage. So there again you are not able to look at the errors from the point of view of number. So let me just explain it to you. Maybe here let us write the singular and plural, okay. Here singular means one and plural means many, okay. So we need to remember this in mind. Though this is very simple, but still I am repeating it for you so that things become very clear and easy for you. Now for one person we are using is, and for many are, okay. For one person was and were for plural, has and here have, okay. For one person it is does, here it is do, goes, here it is go. Then when we had looked at the table where we even looked at the singular and the plural verbs with different tenses, there we had looked at, for example, if we look at the verb play, for singular you have plays. That means for singular you have the S form, okay. In plural there is no S or ES, okay. Here you have S or ES, okay. For example, Ashok plays in the evening. The children play in the evening, okay. So please remember, whenever you have a singular verb, there you are going to use the S form. Children, please listen carefully. Today we are discussing just the simple present tense, only the present tense, okay. In the next class we'll be talking about the past tense. I'm discussing each tense separately with you so that you understand them very clearly, so that you can do all the grammar exercises without any mistake. Now whenever there is plural we must not use S, okay, or ES. Now you will have a doubt regarding I. I means me, okay. I am one person, but what do we use with I? I am, I have, I do, I go, I play, okay. So with I you have to use the plural form. I is an exceptional case, though it is one person, okay, the first person, I. So with I you have to be very careful. Many of you write many times I has gone there, I has been there. So please remember, you will not use has with I, you have to use have. I have a pet dog, okay. I have finished my work. I go for a walk regularly. I do my homework in the evening. I play with my friends in the evening. I hope this is clear to you, and please don't write I is or I are. Okay? You're not supposed to write in this way. So I am. Okay? Be very careful with I. Okay? I do. It's not I does or I goes. Okay? So with I we use this form, the plural one, not the singular one. Okay? I hope this is clear to you now. Okay, now look at this. Okay? English has got you for singular also and also for plural, right? When we talk of one person, we say, did you have your breakfast? How do you come to school? Okay, for one person also we use you. And when you talk about more than one person or to many people, then you use you again. Okay, that you have to be very clear. When a teacher is teaching in the class, she says, all of you have understood the lesson. I request you to look at the blackboard. Okay, so when we talk about many people also we use you. Okay, so with you also it will be, do you go to the temple? Do you do your homework? Do you play in the evening? Okay, you are, right? Though it is for one person, you are a nice person. We don't say you is a nice person. We say you are a nice person. So you need to remember these special cases where this does not apply, the singular and the plural verb forms. Like I told you about I, in the same way you go when it is singular. Okay, you go, you do, you play, you are, though we address only one person. In the same way, when we talk about many people also, we ask the students, do you play in the evening? Again we use, do you go to the park regularly? Okay, when you all do your homework, or when do you do your homework? So this is for plural. I hope this is clear to you now. The present tense. Okay, let's quickly try to recap or try to understand quickly whatever we have learnt now. Now we have seen that this has got 4 different forms. Okay, the simple present, the present continuous, the present perfect, and the present perfect continuous. Okay, simple present, we use the simple present tense for actions which we do now, today, right? For that, and then also for actions or the work which are universally true, universal truth. Okay, for example, I told you I read, that means I read now. Okay, the sun rises in the east. Okay. The sun will never rise from the west. So this is an universal, or this is the universal truth. Okay, so the sun rises in the east. So we are using, see here, rises. Sun is singular. So we have used the sun rises in the east. Then also for habitual actions, okay, things which we do regularly, there also you use the simple present tense. For example, I go for a walk every morning. I go. So this is my habit. So for habitual actions, universal truth, and for the things which you do right now, today, in the present. So these are the different situations where we use the simple present, and I told you we use the first form of the verb. Plus again we had learnt the use of s and es for singular and plural with the simple present tense. I hope you will remember. Now present continuous means the action which is continuing when I am talking. Right now I am teaching. I am talking to you. The teacher is teaching in the class. The children are playing in the ground. So the present continuous means the action which is continuing now in the present when we are talking, the action which is going on when we are talking. And also there might be some actions which is not happening right now when I am talking or when we are talking, but the action is continuing in the present. For example, I am reading Harry Potter these days. That means maybe I am not reading it right now in front of you, but these days I am reading. My reading is going on. Though this action is not happening when the person is talking to you or I am talking to you, but I am reading. My reading is going on. Okay, so this has to be very clear to you. In the present continuous, one action which is continuing when you are talking, and the other action which is actually not happening when you are talking, but it is going on, okay, behind the screen. So that is present continuous tense. These are the two different situations where you are using the present continuous tense. Now the present perfect. So here we had learned that the first form of the verb plus ing. Reading, talking, sleeping, playing, okay. So here again is or are. The children are playing, the teacher is teaching in the class, I am reading Harry Potter these days. So present continuous. Now present perfect means you have completed an action. Okay, so there we had learnt it is has or have plus third form of the verb. Okay, perfect means, as we say, this is perfect. Okay, your work is perfect. That means it is complete. So present perfect means now you have completed your action. Some action which is complete. I have written a letter, and I told you the third form. Okay, see, write, wrote, and written. So this is the first form, the second form, and the third form. So in the perfect tense you always use the third form. I have written a letter. It shows some action that has been completed. Okay, again has or have for singular and plural have, and again for I have and you have. Okay, please remember that. I am just repeating again and again so that it goes into your mind and you are able to understand it properly. Now the present perfect continuous. Okay, that means your action is not yet complete. You have started some action and it is still continuing. In that situation, you use the present perfect continuous. It's not complete, but it is continuing. Okay? So, for example, I have been writing a letter since 4 o'clock. Okay? Have been verb plus ing form. So, but in the present, that means I started writing letter and I am still writing the letter. I have been writing a letter since 4 o'clock. It has been raining since morning. That means it started raining and now also it has not stopped. It is raining. So, it has been. So, has or have plus been plus ing. Okay? Please remember this for the present perfect continuous. All the continuous tense will have the ing form. Okay? So, here present perfect continuous means has or have plus been plus verb plus ing. Okay? My friend has been sleeping since evening. He started sleeping and now also he is sleeping. That is a present perfect continuous. So, children, I hope you have understood the 4 different forms of the present tense. Today, please just concentrate on the present tense. In the next class, we will try to learn the past tense. Okay? So, till then, maybe if you have a grammar book at home or any of your books, you can just look for the grammar exercises there, and if you have grammar book, then you can look into the present tense. Just concentrate on them and just try to understand the simple present tense first, the present tense and the different forms. Once you understand this properly, and if you have clicked the pictures of the different tables we had looked at in the beginning, you can re-look at them and try to write some sentences, examples for each form. Like you can write 5 sentences for the simple present tense, 5 for the present continuous, 5 for the present perfect, and 5 for the present perfect continuous. So just focus on the present tense for now, and in the next class we will be focusing on the past tense and looking at the different forms of past tense. Until then, take care of yourself. I will meet you in the next class with more information on the past tense. Until then, take care, stay safe, stay at home.